Hi, a very good afternoon to my dear audiences out there. My name is Gilbert and I'm a game designer. Today not going to be making a game review, but basically I'm going to make a game deconstruction on the game Resident Evil 6, as seen here, specifically in a Chris's campaign. So the first two things I would like to talk about is basically on trust and partnership. The reason I chose trust is because in the game, players who will be playing the role of Pierce Nevins and Chris Redfield will be the last surviving members of their team. And as such, they're going to have to rely and protect each other, as well as trust each other ultimately, in order to make it through alive, through their ordeals during the mission, and as well as partnership, because the two of them are having the same goal of taking down the mastermind behind that particular biohazard. They will have to also work together by assisting each other by climbing up walls and stuff like that in order to move on through their mission. Moving on, the issues which I found in game is basically the lack of the female combat enemies in the game, because in the game because in a city you definitely find a mixture of male and female citizens in the city, but in the game, however, it does not show a single female combat enemy in the game. Secondly is the Caucasian player characters in the game. As you can see, the game is taking place in an Asian country, and as such, I expected a second player character to be an Asian character, like how they did for Resident Evil 5, where they showed Sheva Aloma to represent the ethnic group there supporting Chris Redfield in Resident Evil 5. And finally, for the game is the linear walkthrough, where basically it's just one line. It's just basically a single file game where players have to just go through the paths the game has already planned out for them, without being able to make a decision on their own that will affect them, like having a bad ending or a good ending. Moving on, there are also some symbolisms in the game which are represented in some scenes. For example, Chris's hot pursuit of Ada, whereby Chris Man was murdered by Ada several months ago, prior to the current incident in Resident Evil 6, whereby in the past mission, Chris's men were murdered by her. And so, if related to the real world context, it is actually like it is like the human nature of being unable to let go of a past experience. And as for Pierce's sacrifice at the end, basically, if related to a real world context, a small effort brings a great difference. It relates somewhat to the game as well, because even though a single person, which is Pierce, sacrifices himself, it gave the dawn of security and peace to the human race. Moving on, for my designs that I wish to put into the game, basically I would definitely wish to put a second character that is related to the ethnic group in the game, and in this case, an Asian group that is found in which is found in the game, because it's taking place in an Asian city. So yeah, create a good and bad endings to reflect the player's choice in the game. Like for example, when players manage to kill off an enemy, it plays the good ending, and if the player fails to do so, it gives the player a bad ending and shows how it affects humanity. And for the final two, I would definitely add I'll add different routes where players can take, and each one leads them to a final boss fight, or either it will lead them to a cutscene. Each cutscene will be different from one another, and finally, I would ensure that each route which the players take will definitely have a role in playing in the player's ending. Which these two are related to my design, where an absence of time or time system in game equates to a game of freedom in exploration. Well, that's all for now. Thank you for your time and hope to see you guys soon.